also broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and North America, the East Coast. We can also be heard on the internet in WMA, MP3 and AAC Plus formats at www.rri.ro Channel 1. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Flickr, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Tumblr and SoundCloud. We wish you good reception conditions.
Welcome to this broadcast on Radio Romania International. Radio Newsreel.
Hello, I'm Vlad Palcu with the newsreel. We start with the news bulletin, followed by a commentary on a number of anti-terrorism measures considered in Bucharest, and another on the sentencing of a communist-era torturer. First, the news with Diana Bujel.
Headlines. Romania's President Klaus Iohannis is attending the Nuclear Security Summit in Washington. The Romanian Foreign Ministry announces the start of the process of enlisting in the electoral register of the Romanian voters with a domicile or residence abroad. The Bucharest Tribunal ruled to authorize the preventive house arrest pending trial of the Craiova Mayor Lia Olguța Vasilescu. Romania and Serbia have decided to establish common border patrols made up of police officers. Romania's President Klaus Iohannis is attending the Nuclear Security Summit in Washington. He said on Thursday that in the following weeks he will hold consultations with all political parties in Romania on the legislation in the field, and underlined he gladly received the echo coming from the country as regards the change and modernization of the security law. He also said that Romania meets the highest standards when it comes to nuclear security. Klaus Iohannis will participate on Friday in the session opening the summit, will attend a working dinner and the talk starting from a scenario designed by the organizers, which consists in the presentation of a hypothetical case of nuclear terrorism. The Romanian president will also make a declaration for the press at the end of the summit. Also on Friday, he will meet with members of the Romanian community in Washington. The Romanian Foreign Ministry and the Permanent Electoral Authority in Romania announced the start of the enlisting in the electoral registry of the Romanian voters with a domicile or residence abroad. As of April 1st, 2016, the Romanian nationals who want to vote in the future parliamentary elections can request to be enlisted in the electoral registry. The enlisting period comes to a close some 3 months ahead of the elections, depending on the voting date. In a press conference, the Minister Delegate for the Romanians abroad, Dan Stoinescu, underlined that the enlisting of the voters in the electoral registry is a huge and necessary step forward in exerting the right to vote in this year's parliamentary elections, considering the amendments to the electoral law and the introduction of the vote by mail. The Bucharest Tribunal on Thursday ruled to authorize the preventive house arrest for 30 days pending trial of Craiova Mayor Lia Olguța Vasilescu. She was detained on Wednesday on charges of bribe-taking, influence peddling to obtain undue financial benefits and goods and money laundering. According to a measure taken by the prosecutors on Thursday, MP Sebastian Ghiță is on bail subject to legal restrictions pending trial. The bail is set at 13 million euros. A close friend of former Prime Minister, Social Democrat Victor Ponta, Sebastian Ghiță is accused of bribe-giving, blackmail and securing influence. This is the highest bail set so far by a Romanian court. Romanian Interior Minister Petre Tobă met on Thursday in Gerdab, Serbia, with his Serbian counterpart Nebojša Stefanović. The focal point of the talks between the two officials were migration-related issues and the need to identify additional security measures on the common border. According to a communiqué issued by the Romanian Interior Ministry, the two officials agreed that in the following period of time, a legal framework should be ensured to establish a common patrol made up of Romanian and Serbian border police officers. Romania has taken additional measures to tighten border security because it has to manage some 2,070 kilometers of the EU's external border, Minister Tobo said on the occasion. According to the Pentagon, the U.S. will deploy an armored brigade in Eastern Europe with continuous rotation starting in February 2017 as part of the efforts to discourage possible Russian aggression. The brigade will number 4,200 troops as well as tanks and other types of armored vehicles. The troops will rotate in and out of the Allied states on the eastern flank, such as Romania, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. U.S. combat brigades of the ground forces are also stationed in Germany and Italy. About 62,000 U.S. military forces are permanently based in Europe. To reassure its allies in Eastern Europe, NATO took a series of measures in the spring of 2014, such as opening logistical centers and deploying fighter aircraft in the Baltic states and additional ships in the Baltic Sea and the Black Sea. Moscow says the permanent deployment of troops along its borders violates the NATO-Russia Founding Act signed in 1997. The Romanian Intelligence Service is investigating, together with national and international partners, the use of anonymous prepaid phone cards in areas with terrorist organizations. The service has recently said that persons affiliated to terrorist groups have used prepaid phone cards in Romania to communicate abroad. The investigation also looks at the possible use of such cards in the attacks carried out in Europe. Romania may become an important player on the regional energy market by 2020 if the Brua natural gas pipeline is developed, the Romanian Economy Minister Costin Borg told the Bucharest Forum held by Aspen Institute Romania, and that's the news.
You are listening to the newsreel on Radio Romania International. The issue of prepaid phone cards from Romania allegedly used in masterminding the latest string of terror attacks has sparked off heated debates of late. Find out more in a report by Florentin Capitanescu, brought to you by Călin Coțoiu.
Against the backdrop of the terror attacks that have rocked Paris and Brussels in the past months, talks on security, the battle against terrorism, and means to prevent it have gained a new dimension, even in Romania. A statement made by Prime Minister Dacian Cioloș after the Brussels attacks has rekindled, after a year and a half, the debate on the use of prepaid phone cards. According to the Prime Minister, prepaid phone cards from Romania, one of the few EU countries still selling them without checking the buyer's identity, have allegedly been used in masterminding the attacks in the European Union. The moment picked by Prime Minister Cioloș for making this statement, shortly after the attacks in Belgium, and in the absence of further details, has lent the impression that prepaid phone cards from Romania could have been used in preparation for the latest terror attacks. Circumstances, the Romanian Intelligence Service, a staunch supporter of the idea that buyers should reveal their identity upon purchasing prepaid phone cards, said that the institution, together with its Western partners, are investigating the sale of such cards in areas with terrorist activity. The Intelligence Service has also announced that recent information indicates that threats